everyone, it's POOJA here. So today let's talk about how to clear your PCE in the very first attempt. So I gave my PCE in November 2019. That was my first attempt and I was able to clear it. So today I'm trying to share the method that I used, the way I studied for my PCE, and also I'll go through the books that I used for the preparations, so that you would get a more in-depth idea of how you should be planning your study. So let's get started. So for those who don't know, PCE is a 4-hour exam. There are 200 MCQs. There are multiple choice questions, 200 multiple choice questions. And it's a computer-based exam. So that's the brief of the PCE. Now, there are two things that I want you to keep in mind when you're sitting for your PCE. That is, practice a lot of mock questions. Do give as many practice tests as you can, because that would improve your perception of understanding the topics. When you're going through a topic, that would help you identify potential questions and potential answers when you're going through your reading material. And also, because you're solving a lot of questions, you would develop this ability to sort of scan the questions and find out the important points. Like, if not, there are things like what is not there in osteoarthritis, like that's a specific thing. Now many people, because they're in a rush during the exam, forget to look at that not, and they just think what are the symptoms in osteoarthritis instead of not in osteoarthritis. So these are some of the common things that everyone makes mistakes. So yeah, so if you do a lot of mock questions, and also try and build up your basics really well, because again, PCE is an entry level exam, so they are not expecting you to be expert physiotherapists. They are expecting you to be fresh graduates physiotherapists who have the basic ideas of all the conditions and the physical therapy management. That's all the exam is about. Okay, so with that being done, let's get started. So first and foremost, I want you to go through the blueprint that is given by CAPR. So I'll put the link in the description. CAPR has published a 2018 blueprint. So this blueprint it's an 11-page PDF. This blueprint describes 7 different domains and 5 areas of practice. 4 areas of practice and 7 different domains. So domains meaning the areas from which the questions would be asked. So the main domain is physiotherapy expertise. So 50 to 60% of your questions would be related to physiotherapy expertise. Okay, from the total 200 questions, 60% would be based on your expertise in physical therapy. The others would be communication, leadership, management, and stuff like that. So that's the domains. And the next thing is your areas of practice, meaning musculoskeletal, cardiopulmonary, neurology, and other systems. Okay, so the weightage is given more to musculoskeletal system. So musculoskeletal system and its conditions are given somewhere between 50 to 55%, or let's say 45 to 55% of weightage. So that's the weightage for musculoskeletal. For neurology, there's 20% of weightage. Cardiopulmonary is 15% plus or minus 5, and then there is other system that is given weightage, other system and other miscellaneous questions, that is given a weightage of 10%. So that's the breakout. Okay, that's how the whole question, the whole 200 questions are divided. That's the weightage. So I would really want you to go through the blueprint thoroughly, and keep in mind, or just print it out for your own reference, because they have also divided, even in musculoskeletal, they have divided what conditions they would want you to focus on, what age group they would want you to focus on. So they have done a good work with the blueprint. So keep the blueprint handy. So that's the first thing that I want you to do. Print it and keep it with you, so you would start having an idea. The second thing would be to have a reference book. Now I have already given NPTE, so my reference book for NPTE was Therapy Ed. So I used the same book for PCE also. So this is Therapy Ed. Now I gave my NPTE in 2017. That's why it's an older version. Right now they have a Therapy Ed for 2020 or 2019 version. That's the thing that they have. So this Therapy Ed is a reference book, meaning this has all the all the conditions and the management and everything in a brief, in a concise form. So my style of studying was that I'll first scan through a couple of mock questions related to that practice. Let's say I'm doing ortho, let's say I'm doing musculoskeletal, I'll solve a couple of musculoskeletal questions, and then I'll start preparing. So this would give me a better idea as to what I should be looking for when I read my material. So that's what I did. You can always make your own path. So that being said, yeah, again, I wanted to let you guys know that that CAPR has given a sample of 45 to 50 practice questions on its website. So first and foremost, go through those practice questions so you would know where you stand in your preparations, and you'll also have an idea of what sort of questions would be there in the exams. So solve those practice questions from the website first, and then if you want, you can use Therapy Ed. That's the book that I used. Therapy Ed is also by O'Sullivan, so that's the book that I used. So let's say if I'm doing my ortho, what I did was I studied the basic conditions from Therapy Ed. And then if I want to focus more on special tests, because Therapy Ed just has like 5 or 10 sentences on a special test, then I would use Orthopedic Physical Therapy Assessment by David Magee. Now I have a Xerox of that book. I don't have the original with me right now. So most of us have used this during our bachelor's, so it's the same book, but this book does have a detailed version of the special tests and everything. So I would suggest that you should do the special test. At least the special test should be done from Magee. So that's one. And then I also used Colby Kisner. I used this for mobilization, wrist exercises, aquatic exercises, women's health, and a few of those exercises. So this is the book that I referred for those topics. So these are the two books that I used mainly these are the two books that I used for my ortho preparations. Also, I would also suggest that go through a small Google search. Just search it if it's a really new disease, a new condition that you never heard of, like let's say any thromboanginitis, any disease that you don't have a clear idea about. Go do a Google search and then just get to know the symptoms and the management, the general management, so that you have an idea, you have you have something in mind. If a question comes, you at least know what it is, or at least what extremity the condition is associated with. So that's the ortho preparation that I did. Again, for the second weightage is for neurology. So again, for neurology, I referred Therapy Ed, and then to go study in detail, I used O'Sullivan. So again, this is the book that I had to study for in my bachelor's. I used this book, so that's the same book. So that's O'Sullivan for neurology. And then we are left with cardiopulmonary and other system. So I just did that from Therapy Ed. I didn't really use any specific book for that, but again, I did my Google search. I used to I'll just see some YouTube videos on a specific condition, or lung volumes and stuff like that. I would go through the YouTube videos to get a better idea. So yeah, that's everything that I did. I would suggest a time period of 2 to 3 months is a good time frame for you to prepare for your PCE. If you're working, 3 months would be ideal, so that you can give enough time to your work and to your studies, and manage accordingly. So I'll be leaving links of these books, not links, I'll be writing their names and the author, and I'll be leaving a link for Therapy Ed in the description below. If you guys have any other questions, any other queries, you could always send me an email or leave a comment below, and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Okay, so all the best for those who are preparing for your PCE. Hope you find the best in yourself. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.